What's up, guys, and welcome back to RetroGamer, Gen X's retro gaming and computing channel. In today's video, we're going to be digging into this thing. So this is a PS4 that I picked up recently for dirt cheap. Never mind the stickers that's on it there. But yeah, I got it for dirt cheap, and it definitely has some issues. When you turn this thing on, the fan just is running like crazy, like it's about to explode out of the case. And then it has some hard drive issues that we're going to be talking about fixing as well. So basically, let's go ahead and dig into this thing. All coming up here next. Alright guys, so here is the PS4 here on the workbench, and as you can see, we have these ugly stickers still on it that hopefully I'll be able to get taken off. But we're going to take the panel off here, and this is the panel you take off. Basically slides off here by just kind of pulling on it, and that gives you access to the hard drive here, as you guys can see. So I was having some issues with this hard drive. When I would restart it, it was giving me some error messages. So we're going to take this thing out, and basically we're going to be replacing it before we put it back in. But some of the error message that I was getting was this here, guys. So you can see it does this rebuilding database screen, and then it said it could not basically do what it needed to do. Then I put it into a hard drive test HD tune, and yeah, it's failing with reallocated sectors and everything. So the drive's not dead yet, but it's definitely on its way out. So as we can see here, next step here is to basically there's two labels that are supposed to be here with two screws, but it's missing a screw there and missing the labels, which means somebody's already been inside this PlayStation, which is going to be a complete pain in my ass. But yeah, and I believe this is a T9 security bit for this screw back here. It's one of those Torx bits with the little pin on the inside, so it's like a little security bit. Alright, got that bit there. Let's go ahead and unscrew the screw here. It's supposed to have two screws in here, but like I said, there's one missing. Go, got that out. Flip it over the right way here. And then you kind of grab it on the front corners here and pull up, and it'll pop up this thing, and then pull back. Now mine is missing two screws. There's two screws, one that should be in the middle and one that would be towards the front there you have to take off. But seeing that somebody's been in here, ooh, look how dirty this is. But seeing that somebody's been in here, yeah, we're definitely missing a lot of screws in this thing. Alright guys, so the next step here is to basically get in here and pry, start from the center, go around this clip, and once you get the clip kind of popped off, you go around the other side of the clip while holding it up with your thumb, and then kind of move your way to the corner down here, and it'll pop the bottom panel off on one side. Now I noticed through trial and error here that you should probably stick something in here just to keep it popped open, because as soon as you go to the other side and try to pop that side open, this side will close again. So let's go ahead and do the same thing here. We're just going to start in the middle, find that little tab, work our way around that tab once it's popped loose, and then we're going to work our way to the corner, and it'll pop out. And once it pops out, you just kind of lift it up and then pull out. And there's the bottom panel there, guys. So yeah, definitely dirty. This system is pretty disgusting as far as I can see already. And it's just full of nicotine. I mean, you could just smell the cigarette smoke coming from this thing. It's pretty nasty. Alright guys, so let's see. What are we going to do next here? So the next step here, we're going to take this power supply out, and it has two Phillips screws and 3 of those Torque Safety T8 or T9 safety bits as well. So we're going to go ahead and take these screws out. And this is the, well, we'll take the T8s out, or T9s first, since I already have this in my screwdriver here. There's 3. 1 in the corner, 1 in the other corner, and 1 in the front here. And then next, let me change my bit over to a Phillips. I think it's number 2, just a small little number 2 Phillips. And we'll take these Phillips screws out. Now these ones are long. These ones go all the way through the motherboard, or through the entire system basically, to connect. And just pull all that off there. And the next step is basically trying to get this power supply out of here. Now this is kind of a pain in the ass, but you want to disconnect. Actually, I'm going to wait to disconnect that. I'm not going to disconnect that now. Let's go ahead and get this thing pulled out. But there is a cable that goes from there to the motherboard, so just beware of that. So if you're pulling on this and you pull too hard, you might end up breaking that cable. But as you can see, I pull up and then I try to pull up on this end, and then it just doesn't want to come up. It's just a pain in the ass. I've had a pretty hard time trying to get this out here, but basically you kind of want to get it out as even as you can, because if it gets cockeyed, it gets stuck like this. And so what I got to do is kind of pound down the bottom there and then pull on both sides and pull up. Now watch that little cable there. You want to disconnect that from the motherboard. Kind of put this over to the side and then disconnect that cable itself. And there we go. So we got the good old power supply out here. It's pretty dusty and nasty too. And we're probably going to end up opening this thing up and cleaning it on the inside. I'm basically doing a whole refurbish on this thing. We're going to completely clean this thing inside out, because the more I get into it, the dirtier and nastier it gets, guys. And this thing is getting pretty raunchy looking on the inside. And it stinks like stale cigarette smoke. Alright. So next thing we're going to do here is we're going to take the Wi-Fi antenna out, or off and out. So we'll disconnect the wire here that's connected to the motherboard. And then we'll disconnect another T9 screw there, take off the actual Wi-Fi antenna bracket that's here. And it's routed through these like little pieces of plastic, so you want to get it through those pieces of plastic. And then right here, down here by the heatsink fan thing, it's really a weird clip, so you take your time trying to get it out of there. Don't crease that antenna wire, because if you do, it's going to break, and then you're going to have really shitty freaking Wi-Fi signal. You don't want that to happen. There it is. So we got the Wi-Fi antenna out. Like I said, just be careful with this cable. I'm just going to wrap it up here and kind of just make sure it doesn't kink up as I'm wrapping it. That way it saves some space on my table here, or on my bench. Go put that away. So next up, disconnect this ribbon cable here that goes to this little circuit board that's connected to the drive, and then this ribbon cable just pulls out as well. This one you have to pop up the 2 little plastic edges on the sides here, and once you pop those up, it just pops right out. And then the third ribbon cable here, or fourth ribbon cable, just pulls right on out as well. So go ahead and pull that one out. And there you guys go. So that's all the ribbon cables. Now we're going to take our T9 safety bit driver. There's 3 of these screws here holding the Blu-ray drive in. So we're going to go ahead and take that bad boy out. And once you get those screws out, it should just pop out here. Get this last one out. Alright, and then we'll just pull up the Blu-ray drive out of the case, and there we go. So yeah, she's pretty dusty too, pretty dirty, so we're going to be cleaning this as well, taking that apart and cleaning that. Like I say, we're going to be taking apart everything. This thing will not have a piece left in it when we're done. I always put my screws back with my components, guys. That way I can keep track of where the screws actually go. And it looks like whoever originally took this thing apart didn't do that, because this thing is missing a ton of screws. So far I've counted 3 screws it's missing. 3 for the case itself. And I'm sure once we get to like the motherboard and stuff like that, it'll be missing a ton of screws there too. I love when people open things up and then they don't know what they're doing and they mess things up and put the wrong screws in and all that. Alright guys, so here we are. Now, next comes the fun part here. So, we're going to flip this bad boy over. Now on to the power button. So, this thing is a little tricky. It's like plastic, but it doesn't have a spring, but it's like spring loaded. And what you got to do is just pop it out of this little hole here. And watch when you guys do it, because if you're not holding on to it, it will fly across the room. And just like that. See, that's what I'm talking about. Let me cut the video real quick. Alright guys, so that's where that power button goes. And yeah, so that's how you take that out. Put that over to the side as well. Then we can take this ribbon cable out here, because it's not connected to anything anymore, and set it off to the side. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and pull the fan wire off of the motherboard here as well. And just kind of set it there. And yeah guys, now it's time to start really taking this thing apart. I'm going to take the security bit driver, that T8, and take these screws out of this little plastic panel. Future Retro Gamer Gen X here. Yep, sorry about the camera angle here guys, I did not realize it wasn't in frame. Now back to previous me. And there's this little clip right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Do not lose this clip, because you're going to need it, because the power supply actually screws into this clip to keep everything tight. So just beware, keep that with that plastic piece, and don't lose that little metal threaded piece right there. If you do, you're going to be in a world of hurt with the power supply later on. I'm going to go ahead and keep it with the plastic, with the screws, all that. Put that in there. Alright, so we're getting closer guys. We're about done taking this thing apart. We're going to do a montage of undoing a bunch of screws here, as you guys are about to see. But yeah, there are a ton of screws missing off of this thing guys. I'm going to tell you, whoever was in here just did not do this correctly. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and put this in fast forward mode as I take out like the 90 screws that are holding this freaking plate on to the motherboard. Alright, there we are. So we got that out. We're going to go ahead and pull this panel off here, as you can see. And we have some of those thermo pads that go to the RAM chips that are right there by the processor. And it just kind of cools those off as well. And I'll tell you guys, this thing was missing a ton of screws and a whole bunch of mismatched screws too. So whoever put this together did not put the right screws in the right places, and it's going to be a pain in the ass putting back together. Hopefully I can find some little screws I can put in there. But we shall see. We shall see. I'm going to put these over to the side as well, so I know that those go to that plate. So the next thing here is to take off the processor clamp. As you can see, that's going across the processor here. So it's just a Phillips screw on both sides. We're just going to go ahead and take those out. And once you get these bad boys out, it'll pull right off there. And that basically clamps the processor down to the heatsink. And then we have this, I don't know, non-conductive pad here, just to kind of protect the capacitors that are on the back of the processor so they don't break. Being clamped down. Wonderful design, PlayStation. Wonderful design, let me tell you. As you can see, they got pretty hot. They were starting to burn whatever that surface is, or burn into that surface. And that might just be that cigarette smoke nicotine crap too, because it seems like wherever it's hot, that's where that stuff is attracted to, just like dust. Alright guys, so next thing here, we're going to go ahead and pull this motherboard out. You want to pull these two USB ports in the front out first. And then once you get those out, kind of lift up and then pull out from the back. And the whole motherboard will come out for you, as we can see. And yeah, look at that thermo paste, man. That stuff is solid. I mean, that's toast. And the fan is so dirty. Look at all that, guys. All that dust and crap. Whew. Yeah, this thing is just super dirty, guys. My God. I'm going to love to see what the heatsink looks like, because the way this thing sounded like it was taken off to the moon, I guarantee you that heatsink is dirty. By far, this is probably one of the dirtiest consoles I have ever taken apart, guys. So there's 3 more screws here holding this plate on where the heatsink is attached to. 2 right here, and then 1 somewhere. There it is, right there. And once you get those 3 screws out, you should be able to pop the heatsink plate out. Just like that. And let's see. Oh my God, look at that heatsink, guys. It's got a freaking rug on it. That's not even dust. That's like a carpet. It's like it grew its own carpet. Look at that. It had absolutely no airflow going through this thing. No wonder this thing was so freaking loud. It was like literally struggling to get air. And I figured as much, because I didn't feel no airflow going in or out of this thing. So, yep, that's probably one of the worst heat sinks I've ever seen on a console before. Computers, no. But on a console, yes. So there's 1 more screw here just to take the fan out of the case. Holding the fan in, and once we do that, we'll pop this fan out. And yeah, this thing is just full of nicotine and dust. That is looks like I'm working on a car with my hands and not a game console. Jesus. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean up some things here, including my hands. And I'm going to take a pause for right now, guys, but I'm going to be back here, and then we'll go ahead and continue on. Alright, guys, so it is the next day, actually, and last night I did kind of, clean up that fan here as much as I could. It took like almost a whole box of Q-tips and a shit ton of alcohol to get this thing clean, but As you can see, it was just completely disgustingly dirty, but it is pretty clean now and it goes pretty well. It's nice and smooth now, not so sticky. So pretty awesome. I'm going to put my ESD strap on because we're going to be handling the motherboard here. We're going to be taking off this thermo paste. And basically the best way to do that's with a Q-tip and some isopropanol. 99% isopropanol. And just kind of get it wet and start pulling that stuff off. If you can get it off in chunks, that's fine. But I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on a fast forward real quick while I go ahead and get this chip cleaned off. Alright guys, so we got that all cleaned up here and put that off to the side. We'll go ahead and bring in the heatsink plate here as well, because this piece of metal here that actually is the bottom of the heatsink that attaches or goes on top of the processor needs to be cleaned off too, all that thermal paste that's on there. And once again, just some alcohol and some Q-tips and get all that crap off and get it all clean. You want a nice clean surface, so you want to make sure that you get all that old shit off, because if not, it's just not going to cool correctly for you. Just like a computer, it's no different, guys. If you've ever built a computer, this is the same type of thing. So now that's nice and clean there. Boy, that is nice and clean. As you guys can see, I did clean all this up. So I did clean a lot of parts overnight, but yeah, on to the motherboard here, guys. So as you can see, it still needs to be wiped down completely here. So we'll get started with all that. So I'm going to take some time here, guys, clean this motherboard up, and it's disgusting and just full of nicotine. So the motherboard is finished here. It's all cleaned up, and we're on to this. The power supply, which is completely dirty up inside of here. So we're going to take this thing apart by taking out a Phillips screw that's in the center here. At least my model only has one screw holding it together. And then once you get it out, you're just going to take your two thumbs and put them right here and pull with some force, and it'll pop open. And it takes some force, guys, I'm not going to lie. And that'll get you inside the power supply. So if you need to repair it or anything like that, you can do that. And yeah, this thing is disgusting inside too. Not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought it would be really bad in here. And watch these caps right here, because if you don't discharge them, they may still have voltage in them. Remember, this is the high voltage AC part. Over on this side is the DC voltage. Yeah, this thing is pretty dirty, but not as dirty as I thought it would be. I thought it would be full of like clumps of hair and crap. But let me get it pulled out of the case here. And as you can see, the case is dirty. Everything's dirty. The freaking board is dirty. Everything's dirty. Just needs a huge wipe down. Everything does. That nicotine stuff is all over everything. Let me get this all cleaned up and I'll be back. Alright guys, so we got everything back together. It is nice and clean. So that is good to go. It's like, looks almost brand new again, actually. I mean, looks really good. So I'm going to place that over to the side. And next up is going to be the Blu-ray drive here. So we got to go ahead and clean this thing up, because once again, everything in here has smoke and nicotine. There's two screws here. We got the one at the top and the one at the bottom here. And then you just kind of lift up from the back and then pull out. And that'll expose everything you need to get to basically service the drive here. Unless you're changing lenses or something. And yeah, it's not too bad in here. I've seen far worse. But we're going to clean the rollers. We're going to clean everything inside of here. Right now I'm just spraying it with canned air. Trying to get the excess dust out. Once again, the rollers here are just covered with nicotine. Those are actually supposed to be white, not yellow. So over the years, they've actually turned yellow from all the nicotine. And I'll try to get this stuff off, but honestly, guys, I don't think this is all going to come off. Alright guys, so the rollers are all clean. Now we're just going to clean the lens real quick here. Kind of clean the spindle with some alcohol as well. Just like that. And I gotta say, with those rollers, guys, it was kind of a pain. You kind of gotta play with them and get them to spin. They're on a gear, so you kind of gotta make it at a weird angle to make them spin so you can clean those thoroughly. Here is some silicone grease. And we're gonna put some silicone, just a dab on a Q-tip here, just a little dab. And then we're gonna take that Q-tip and then roll it a little bit on these rails here. And it's just going to give it a little bit of silicone grease. So, you know, I'm sure with all that nicotine and everything, those were getting kind of sticky as well. Everything in here is just completely sticky. And there we go. Just kind of just smear it across the rail, and eventually it'll, you know, clear itself up. Okay guys, so we got that all nice and cleaned up there. So now it's time to reassemble the Blu-ray drive here. So this thing just pops in like that. And then there we go. And then we just basically got to screw her back in. But something's not right here. Hold on. Let me see. Alright, I think it's in there now. Looks good. Everything's fitting. Put the screws back in. And it's just those two screws, one in each corner. And basically there we go, guys. So we have the reassembled Blu-ray drive being serviced and cleaned. So now that should function a whole hell of a lot better as well. Okay guys, so now we're back to reassembly of the PS4. So I'm not going to have you guys sit here and watch as I reassemble everything here. Because it's basically literally the reverse of taking it apart. The exact reverse. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to put this in fast forward, and once I get it all together, then we'll continue on. Okay guys, here we go. We got this thing fully assembled. And yes, I could not get all these stickers off, so I'm going to soak them down some more and get these off a little bit later. It kind of sucks that I wasn't able to get them off, but hey, at least the PlayStation is nice and clean and it's been serviced and it looks good. So let's go ahead and test this thing out. Alright guys, so here it is on my workbench here with my little LCD screen that I have, a little tiny one, connected to the PS4. I'm going to go ahead and plug this thing in for the first time. I don't see any smoke coming out of it, so that's a good thing. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing fired up. and they shall start. Now in the process, I don't know if you guys saw during the reassembly, but I did go ahead and put a new hard drive in this. I had another 500 gig Toshiba drive, pretty much just like the drive that came out of this thing, and it was still running perfect. It actually came out of my PS3 when I replaced the that with the SSD that I have in it right now. So for now, the PS4 is going to get the old PS3 500 gig Toshiba drive. And since this is the first boot, it's going to take a while for it to initialize and everything, because we're going to have to go through the setup here, which means I'm going to have to connect the PlayStation controller via a USB cable, or else it's not going to work, to the PlayStation. So here we go. Got my nice little retractable light up cable here. I've had this thing for years, but we need to put this in first because that has the update. I already knew that we were going to have to put the update on here because this has absolutely nothing on this hard drive. So that being said, it's going to be putting the 12.50 system update on here. So it's going to be 12.50. Because I'm planning on jailbreaking this thing later on. Maybe I'll do a video about that later on, showing how to do that. There's plenty of videos showing how to jailbreak, guys, so I might not do that one. But yeah, I'm happy, guys. It's running nice and smooth. It doesn't sound like, by this point already, it was already sounding like a jet taking off. So I'm really happy because it's very, very quiet right now. I can't even hear it. In fact, the only thing I can actually hear is, yeah, a little bit of the fan, but not much. All right, let's see here. Yep. All right, there we go. Just gonna be installing everything here. Yeah, pretty cool, guys. I'm pretty stoked that this PS4 is up and running way better now. Like I said before, I was afraid that this fan was going to come flying out and break and shatter because it was spinning so freaking fast. It was insane, guys. How loud and how fast that fan was spinning. But you guys saw the heatsink, so you know how bad this thing was and why it was like that. It just wasn't getting any airflow at all. At all. Alright, we're about done with this here, it looks like. Oh, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. That's the one thing I gotta say about these more modern game consoles. Since they become so computerized, it is... I don't like it. I don't like the updates. I don't like having to sit here and wait for this, sit here, wait for that. Just all the crap. It's like, you know, if I'm going to deal with this, I might as well just PC game. And honestly, guys, this is my first PS4. The newest video game system that I've had since then was the Wii, the PS3, and the Xbox 360. I haven't bought a new console. So, and since I got this one for basically nothing, I figured, well, why not, you know, take it in, breathe some new life into the system. I know it's not retro. I mean, you know, this is a retro gaming channel, but yeah, got to do what you got to do, guys. Oh, it's kind of cool that we're getting so close to actually getting this thing up and running properly. Yeah, like I said, when I first got it, guys, it was just giving me errors. It was running so hot. The fan was just going off. It was just insane. Already, like I said, it's doing much better. We'll fast forward through all this. Okay, so that's done. Now, I think this thing's going to restart a few times. I'm not quite sure how this works. Like I said, I've never had a PS4, so pretty sure what it'll do is restart a few times while it's trying to initialize and build the databases or whatever the hell it's supposed to be called. I don't know if it's really databases or if it's like partitions it's actually setting up. That's what I would assume. But instead of calling partitions, let's call them databases. I could be wrong, guys. I don't know. I don't know much about this console yet. Well, it did something there. Oh, here we go. It's going to have to restart again. Yay. And this is a reason why I'm not a fan of these new consoles. I mean... Oh, we got a PlayStation logo. That's good. That's a start. And what a stupid freaking like intro screen or whatever, splash screen. It's just a black and white PlayStation logo. Just so bland. Alright guys, so here we are. Looks like now we're going to go ahead and set this thing up. Now obviously I'm probably going to be doing a jailbreak on this thing, so I'm not going to be doing too much because this will all be erased anyway and replaced with the jailbreak stuff. But for right now, just for trying to see if this thing actually works, I'm going to go in and do this setup here quickly, as quick as I can. There's not much we're going to set up. We're not going to do the internet. We're not going to do nothing. And because I did replace the battery inside on the motherboard as well, the real-time clock battery, we're going to have to reset all this because this is no longer correct either. And we're just continuing on through the setup process, guys. If you've never seen the process of setting up a PS4, well, you're watching it now. So fun, let me tell you. So fun. All right. And there we go. All set up. Users all set up. PlayStation's all set up. Bad thing is, guys, I have no games to be able to test this thing. Now, I have DVDs and Blu-rays, so I know the drive works and everything, so I'm pretty sure this thing will play games. But until I actually go get a game, I'm not going to be able to test this thing out, unfortunately. Unless I jailbreak it. Alright, guys, but it looks like it's working. We're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have a great one. Peace out, y'all.